Hi Friendship Village family, it's Carmen Franzak. As you can see from my background, I'm not in the office today, but I wanted to join you via this video. I wanted to talk with you about some of the things that are happening at Friendship Village. I was informed this morning that unfortunately, one of our own independent living residents has been diagnosed with COVID-19. I am praying for their health and recovery, and I hope they get feeling better soon. I did, though, need to talk with you about what this means for each of you. We do have to implement some of those restrictions that we had in place earlier this month. The first one's going to be that we will be putting back into place the no visitor policy. We won't be allowing visitors on campus to have visits with you either in the building or outside the building. The next one is we are asking you to please self-quarantine in your residence for the next 14 days. This is the best opportunity that we have to stop the spread of COVID-19 and to keep you safe. The third thing is that I did want to ask you to, again, refrain from leaving the village except for those essential trips to doctor's appointments and so on. Now, I know we don't want to do any of these things, but those three things, no visitors in the building, doing the 14-day quarantine, and only leaving campus for essential trips are the best ways we know to fight this virus. I know this isn't fun for any of you, and I sincerely appreciate your cooperation. I want you to know that we all care deeply about you, and we are here for you. There has been a memo that was distributed this afternoon to your residents, probably at your apartment door now, or it will be shortly. Please take a look at this memo. It does outline all of the restrictions as well as all of the services we have in place for you during this time. Again, I look forward to talking with you soon. I'm sorry this is happening again, but we will get through this again. God bless you and take care.
Good morning, Friendship Village. This is Lynn Meyer, your July 2nd COVID update. And it's a sad day for us here on our Chesterfield campus. As you all know already, one of our residents has, in the independent living, has tested positive for COVID. The individual is no longer on the campus, but I did want to share with you what the plan is forward for our independent living residents. I have been personally in contact with the St. Louis County Health Department this morning to discuss what the next action should be. We have been directed to restrict visitors, so there will be no outside visitors on the campus, and also to have no activities, and we're asking the residents to voluntarily quarantine in their apartments. The County Health Department has also asked that we make sure that we don't have any crossover to our village care center. So we're asking any of our independent living residents who have a loved one in the care center to please not go over there for any tent visits or outside visits, and we will help orchestrate and help you be able to do video chats with your family members. So we'll work on that. But what do we do for the next 14 days while you're in quarantine? As before, your meals and things will be delivered. We will ask that you monitor your symptoms on a daily basis for those symptoms of COVID, and I'll review those with you just so you're clear on those. Remember fever, chills, and remember in the elderly population, fever isn't seen as often as it is in younger individuals. Any cough or shortness of breath, if you have any fatigue or muscle aches, if you have a headache, if you have any nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, if you have a loss of taste or smell, if you have a sore throat or any congestion or runny nose. Not definite symptoms of COVID, but could be an indication. At that point, if any of those would occur, we ask that you notify Michelle Dane. She will give you further direction. She can come take your temperature for you and direct you to your personal physician for further follow-up. We feel that the exposure is very low after talking to St. Louis County, but there could be an exposure, and they will do the contact investigation on the resident since the resident had left the campus and been at a social function with family. But this is their direction, and we will be in constant communication with them. So again, we feel your risk is very low, but we have to take the guidance of the health department, and for your safety and the safety of all on campus, we ask that you follow those directions. So I will be back with you early next week and give you an update on where we are and what I'm learning again from the county health department. Unfortunately, we were afraid something like this could occur once we open up visiting and let you be able to leave the campus. And we've seen what has happened in the southern part of the United States and California. So we were somewhat expecting it, but it was sad. I am happy to say that the resident is doing okay, and that the resident and the spouse are both off the campus currently, and we will continue to monitor that also. So thank you so much. Have as good of a weekend as you can. Let's hope the weather is going to cooperate. It's going to be a little warm, but stay safe, and we'll talk to you again next week. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. Here we are once again, facing some difficulties and obstacles, but facing them together. And I just wanted to take a few moments to go over just a couple of things from the chaplain department and to remind us that we're not alone. And even though we might go into a season of quarantine, the Lord is with us, and we are here for each other as He uses us to bring encouragement and hope in the midst of this season. I wanted to remind you that starting Monday, July 6th, it's very likely that you will receive a phone call either from a staff person here or one of your fellow residents. We'll be doing that every day, Monday through Friday, during this quarantine time, just to make sure that everyone's doing all right, to check up on one another, to just be a listening ear, to offer a moment of hope and a little brightness for each day. So count on that call. Be looking for that. Don't be surprised if maybe a resident or staff person that you don't know, or maybe as you've never talked to before, suddenly reaches out to you. This is a time when we're doing our best to come together and offer mutual support. So starting Monday, July 6th, you can look forward to those calls together. Of course, here is the chaplain department. We want to be available to you for any spiritual support that you might need during this season. And my extension is at 6156. You can also reach our associate chaplain, Mary Myrink, at extension 6298. And we're glad to help and assist any way that we can during this time. Of course, with our protocols, our quarantine protocols coming into effect once again, that does mean that we are unable to offer any gatherings in our theater or in our chapel. However, you can still count on our services being broadcast on Channel 900. Sunday mornings are at 10:45. And a week from Wednesday, they'll be on Channel 900 again. This coming Wednesday, I'm already scheduled to be out of town, and we've already announced the cancellation of our Wednesday gathering. But otherwise, watch us right here on Channel 900. Of course, you can always find daily encouragement here on Channel 900, Monday through Friday, through a short devotional that I share every day. We air that brand new at 4:30 in the afternoon, again at 8 o'clock at night, and 8 o'clock in the morning. As we come together, there is hope and encouragement to be found in this season. And with that in mind, I just wanted to offer you this thought. On at least 2 occasions in the scripture, the disciples of Jesus found themselves in a bit of trouble, facing sudden changes in their circumstances, sudden adversity. In Matthew chapter 8, as they were rowing from one side of the Sea of Galilee to the other, a storm came upon them and they were tossed about. And the story there tells us that Jesus, who was at perfect peace, even asleep in that boat. And as the disciples became desperate, they called out to him, woke him up, and he calmed the sea. The other occasion was similar. A few chapters later, in Matthew chapter 14, the disciples again were rowing from one side of the Sea of Galilee to the other, but this time Jesus wasn't with them. He sent them on ahead and told them that he would catch up with them later, but the wind was rather strong that day. and the waves began to rise up out of control, and they unexpectedly found themselves in a bit of danger. And as they looked out across the water, they saw a figure walking toward them on the water. They were terrified. How could this even happen? Instead of getting better, it seemed like their situation had gotten worse. They thought it was a ghost. And then as he approached, they realized it was the Lord. But this time, instead of instantly calming the storm, he reached out his hand and said, "Come join me on the water." Of course, the story tells us that of all the disciples, Peter suddenly was out of the boat and for a few moments actually walked on the water as he kept his eyes on Christ. As the waves came up, he got distracted, began to look down, began to become concerned, lost sight of the Lord, and began to sink very rapidly. Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. Here's the principle from both of those examples. In the midst of the onslaught of a sudden storm or sudden wind and waves that seemed out of control, the Lord was present. As they called out to him in the first one, he brought calm. In the second one, he promised to be with them and called, "You can stand with me right now in the midst of these wind and waves, and we're going to do the impossible, and we're going to get through this together." And even when it seemed like all was lost and Peter was sinking to the bottom of the lake, Jesus reached out and caught him. And he's catching us as well. In the midst of our storm, in the midst of this season, let's trust that he's standing with us. Let's call out to him. Let's reach out and let him rescue us. Have faith, trust the Lord. And as we look out for one another and look for ways to encourage one another, we're going to make it through this just fine. We've done this once before. We'll do it again. I'm so thankful to be part of such a resilient community. Friendship Village, let's do our best. We're going to make it through. God bless you. Thanks for watching today. If you have any other ongoing questions or concerns or anything that we can help address, please don't hesitate to reach out to any one of us. God bless you. We'll see you soon.